Good evening. Welcome to Louisiana's Go Fill Out Your Census event, a part of the Census in the South Road to Recovery virtual bus tour. Pluribus Unum and Fair Count have come together for a series of events across the Southeast, emphasizing that a full recovery from this pandemic requires a fair and accurate census. Tonight, you're going to meet people from across the state who have jumped in, rolled up their sleeves, and volunteered their time to get the word out to the Louisiana residents. From elected officials to organizations to everyday individuals, we can all play a part in making sure that every Louisiana resident knows how to get counted so that our great state and people can have access to the resources we need. As of today, Louisiana has a total response rate of 86.2%, compared to the nation's total response rate of 93%. So you can see we have some work to do, and I am so glad you are tuned in tonight to help us.
Thank you so much, Stacy, for both your partnership and your leadership in Georgia and across the nation on issues that are important to moving our region forward. None more important right now than responding to the census. Everybody in America knows we do this every 10 years. Everybody counts, but if they don't count you, they can make you not count. It's so critically important that everybody in America, especially those of us in the South, pay attention, because if they don't count you, then they don't have to send you the resources that we need for public education, for healthcare, for emergency response, for first responders. These census counts are also used for political power. They help us draw congressional lines. They help us draw legislative lines. They help us draw school board lines. They are, in essence, the building blocks of democracy for the next 10 years. As we have seen through COVID, the disproportionate impact on people of color has been dramatic, and the census affects us all here too, because getting resources to the ground where we need it and who needs it is critically important. So as we get ready for the next 10 years, the first building block is the census. That is why I am so happy that Fair Count has been leading this effort, and Pluribus Unum is so thrilled to be able to join you in this day. So one of the things that you can do if you're watching is to make sure that you respond to the census. The second thing you can do is talk to your family and your friends. The third thing that you can do is be a voice across America to make sure that the United States of America counts every human being, because everybody counts. So if you need more information, go to www.my20census.gov to complete this census. If you already have, thank you for doing that. Make sure that your friends do it as well. Make sure that you counted. We have way too much at risk to sit this one out. God bless you. God bless America. Let's get counted.
Everybody, I'm Judy Reese-Morse, President and CEO of the Urban League of Louisiana, and I want to welcome you to our headquarters here in New Orleans. Thank you so much for including the Urban League of Louisiana as a part of this virtual bus tour. Thank you, Stacey Abrams with Fair Count and Mitch Landrew with Pluribus Unum. Let me tell you what the Urban League of Louisiana has been doing to promote the census. We started our work in 2019 by training more than 800 volunteers to make sure that they were well educated and informed about the census. We hired several youth ambassadors, young people who could create and activate their own census plans at their schools and in their communities. We formed 2 complete count committees, one in New Orleans and one in Baton Rouge, that consisted of more than 40 organizations to make sure that we were well coordinated in the work that we were all doing to make sure that everyone was being counted. We also wanted to focus on colleges and universities, particularly our historically Black colleges and universities. So we had an HBCU challenge. Every university president, all 6 HBCU presidents, came together in a virtual town hall to talk about the importance of the census and to really encourage everyone to participate. Social media is everything. We understand that here at the Urban League of Louisiana, so we created a virtual toolkit, a social media toolkit for everyone to be able to use, and we've had thousands of people use those virtual social media cards in order to help to get the word out about the census. And we've given out flyers, 50,000 of them and counting, all across Louisiana, to again make sure that people understand how important it is to be counted. And today we're doing a statewide phone banking operation You'll meet some of our volunteers later, but we've got calls going out to people across the state of Louisiana. I want to thank everyone who's participating today in our phone bank operation, as well as all of the volunteers since 2019 that have worked so closely with the Urban League of Louisiana to get the word out about the census. We know how important this effort is. The awareness is important, but the response is really key. We know how much it matters. We know that $2,300 per person is what the state of Louisiana will receive for every person who participates every year for 10 years. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I know that that is a lot of money. And we need those dollars here in Louisiana, because those dollars are the dollars that fund many of the programs that our participants and our clients rely on every day. So we've got one last push in us. We're going to be working with Bayou Classic at the end of this month to travel to key neighborhoods across the state of Louisiana so that we can get that last push in to try to get everyone possible to participate in the census. Thank you again for stopping by, for giving us the chance to talk about what we're doing here. We appreciate being a part of this virtual bus tour, and let's all work together to push as hard as we can until the very last day, the very last second, to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to be counted.
2020 census and voter registration. 2020 census and voter registration. 2020 census and voter registration.
Greetings. I am Linda Howard Curtis, President of the New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, representing the Louisiana parishes of Jefferson, Orleans, and St. Bernard, encouraging everyone to get on top of that census and to complete it. I bet you're wondering if the census is really safe to take. And the answer is yes. I can assure you that the federal government is not allowed to share your confidential information with other entities, organizations, or agencies. So let's do this, Southeast Louisiana. Let's get on top of this census, encourage our family and friends to complete it. Together, we can do this. Thanks.
Greetings to the state of Louisiana. I am John Lawson II from the Urban League of Louisiana's Voice Initiative, and we want to make sure that you are counted in this year's census. Many African Americans and many college students like myself are sometimes underrepresented when it comes to the census count. This affects our federal funding when it comes to our college campuses, and it also affects our political powers as well. We have to make sure we get our fair share, and in the state of Louisiana alone, they are anticipating that over 55,000 African Americans will not be counted. And this can be very detrimental to our resources on the state and federal levels. So make sure that you get out and make sure that you are counted, and also make sure that you encourage everyone else to get counted as well. Thank you.
So Ducky, you mentioned, we know that there is a lot that can be accomplished by filling out the census, improving our community with different facilities and that we need, stores, grocery, we mentioned fire stations, we mentioned hospitals. But one thing I wanted to know more about is the fact that with the census, 2020 census, filling out the 2020 census, we can also use it as a way of finding out more about our ancestors.
Right, the ancestry part of the census is so important to me because it documents where a family was at a certain point in time in that 10-year period where a census is taken every 10 years. Now, you know, as far as African American people, we look at Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. We traveled a lot. We went from slavery to freedom, and we came out of that sense of being free with an obligation to continue our freedoms, but to respect our heritage, that we were not always free. That not only black people didn't always have the right to vote, but women did not have the right to vote. You had Ida B. Wells and Susan Anthony, and it wasn't until 1920 that women got the right to vote. But many times in our history as black people, women were the strength of our families. Women ruled the roost. Women might have been with other women in a household raising grandchildren, nieces, nephews, because maybe the husbands weren't there for whatever reasons. We're not going to get into that part of the history, but you could track where your family was, how your family got there, what household did they live in, who lived in that household with them, what were the different age groups of the people in the household. I know in our own Chase family household, we had cousins. We had aunts that we considered aunts with us. We had first cousins, aunts, sisters, brothers, husbands and wives, because we couldn't afford to have a lot of things back then because society was segregated. We did not have the representation that we now have in Congress. We now see a very diverse America, and we want that to continue to be, where everybody is welcome in the Congress of the United States of America, and we need everybody to be represented there, and the only way we're going to do that is through filling out that census form.
So we want to encourage you to do just that, to be among those who want to be counted and want their neighborhoods and their communities to improve. And do one simple thing: fill out the census. It doesn't take 5 minutes. Fill out the census.
Hi, my name is Ashley Shelton. I'm the Executive Director of the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice. The Power Coalition is a 501c3 civic engagement table anchored by community-based groups committed to working with disenfranchised communities with a focus on engaging infrequent voters of color. We are also proud members of the Governor's Complete Count Committee, where we have been working around the clock to engage citizens across our state about the importance of completing the census. Our efforts have included making more than $75,000 in grants to small community-based nonprofits as well as neighborhood associations who've been using those resources to outreach into their communities since May of this year, and they will continue that work through September 30th at the end of the count. We have also had the pleasure of working with trusted leaders in community to provide postcards to members in their community about the importance of completing the census. We have seen an 8 to 9% increase in completion rate of the census because they have heard from trusted leaders in their community. We have also invested significantly in Facebook ads, Instagram, as well as Black radio ads to inform and engage as many members of our community as possible. We are also really proud to have participated in webinars, teletown halls, as well as complete count committee meetings of multiple organizations across this state. We want to thank the governor for his leadership. We want to thank him for allowing us to be a part of a very diverse complete count committee that it allowed us to engage state elected officials as well as state agencies, our libraries, and so many more amazing partners. I am committed and believe that we will get a complete count in the state of Louisiana, and we will continue to work until the deadline on September 30th to ensure that Louisiana is counted.
I count, you count, grandparents count, newborns count, you all count. This is your chance to not only shape your future, but Louisiana's future. Visit 2020census.gov.
From uptown to New Orleans East, Gentilly to Central City, Lower Ninth Ward, and back at town. The diversity of New Orleans has always been our strength, and the 2020 census provides us a unique opportunity for all of our voices to be heard. And for the first time, you can respond online, by mail, or by phone. Our collective voices determine the amount of resources we get coming into our community. New Orleans counts. Be part of that number.
I want to be in that number.
At Ducky Chases, our family business. It's been in our family for 79 years. And as we look at this for you, we can't help but know how blessed we were to have parents who looked out for the community. We had parents who was concerned not only about their welfare, but the welfare of their neighbors. We were so fortunate to be able to serve so many people in these 79 years, including the Freedom Bus Riders. So many African American entertainers who entertained but had nowhere else to eat but here at Ducky Chases. And of course, we very privileged to have had two presidents, President Obama and President Bush, to eat with us. So even having all of that happen, we think one of the most important things is to have our parents and involved in the civil rights movement, but also into our community and what's best for our community, and the importance of taking the census and filling out the census so that we can improve our community. And so our parents did that. Daddy went door to door asking people to vote, getting people interested in the census and the importance of it, knowing that if we didn't have people to take the census, to fill out the census, then we would not get all the things that we need in our community. Hence, our community would not improve. So 79 years and still going, still working, and our biggest joy is to work with our community.
Well, Stella, you know, we have several presidents who've been through here, like President Calderon from Mexico, and
right.
Stephen Harper from Canada,
Yes,
who
we
came with President Bush. I think at the time they may have been discussing a free trade agreement because they understood that the United States is based upon many cultures, many ethnicities. People come from all over the world to be a part of the United States of America, to be with us in liberty and love of one another. So that's what we try to do here at the restaurant, promote through our food and our dining and our welcoming activities the liberty and love of each other. So these presidents symbolize that. Our faith in each other symbolizes that. Now we may have pictures of the Pope on our wall here, but we welcome all religions. We value all sorts of diversities here. And I think that's what we want to cherish about the census, to encourage everybody to be a part of the census, because it matters. It matters that you can mark the changes taking place in demographics and geographic locations of America, and the beautiful people who come here that enrich America and make it more likely to be what our founding fathers intended it to be, a society open to all who welcome and love liberty. And so that's what we're about here at the restaurant, and the census is going to help us to do that. And I think we're planning a lot of activities toward that end.
Yes, we are.
I'm Mayor LaToya Cantrell. The 2020 census, it's here. In the city of New Orleans, everyone matters and everyone counts. The census counts citizens, non-citizens, children, even newborn babies. Census data helps guide billions of dollars in federal funding for schools, fire and emergency services, healthcare, and so much more. Census data also determines the number of seats Louisiana has in Congress. Back in 2010, when our people were still displaced, only 45% responded to the census, and hundreds of millions of dollars were left on the table. Your information is confidential and protected by law. You choose how to respond, online, by mail, or even by phone. 9 questions, 10 minutes. NOLA counts, so be in that number.
Yes, I want to be in that number.
State Representative and Senator-elect Jimmy Harris. We're here today for a census job fair, and what we're trying to do is educate the community on the importance of the census, why they need to be counted, what's at stake. We're trying to get ahead of the April 1st deadline and just making sure that people understand that they need to be counted for the resources that they can receive. So today we're looking for recruits to come out to apply to see if this is something that they may want to do. But what we really want to focus on is making sure that we get as many people hired so that we can have the best count that we could have for the city of New Orleans. The turnout is actually really well. The event started at 10 a.m., 10 to 1. People were actually lined up at 8:30 this morning, which shows that there's a will and shows that this is something that people are really interested in doing. When we make people aware of the importance of the census, it will get them more involved, get their families involved, get their friends involved, because what we want to ensure is that we have everyone in the city of New Orleans counted.
At this time, I would like to introduce my boss, State Representative, State Senator-elect Jimmy Harris.
Good morning, everyone. I want to first thank everybody for coming out today. What we plan on doing today is to more or less educate people of what the census is. I don't think a lot of people really understand the importance of the census. You're here today, and you'll start hearing from now on 3 things. 10, 10, 10. What is 10, 10, 10? 10, 10, 10 is, it'll take you 10 minutes to answer 10 questions for $10 billion worth of federal funding to the state of Louisiana. That's simply what it is. And why is that important for the people of New Orleans? The more people that we have counted determines the amount of money that we get. So we need to have everyone counted in this city so that we can do the things that we need to do. I'm tired of riding on ragged streets, same way you are. I'm tired of, we have a crime problem. We know that these are things that money can go to. So I just want to make sure that we all understand the importance of what the census is. You'll start hearing a whole lot from me over the next few months about the census because it's that important.
By answering the 2020 census, we give our communities the economic and political resources it needs to stand strong. It's easy, it's safe, and it's important. Stand up, New Orleans, and be counted, because in New Orleans, everyone counts.
Hola, les habla Mayra Pineda, presidenta ejecutiva de la Cámara de Comercio Hispana de Luisiana, para recordarles que estamos en medio de un censo nacional. Cada 10 años tenemos la oportunidad de construir mejores comunidades al ser contados. La fecha tope se acerca ya, el 30 de septiembre. La participación de la comunidad hispana es muy importante, pues necesitamos accesar esos fondos federales que financian los programas de salud, educación, infraestructura y más, así como representación política que es vital para generar cambio. Visite my2020census.gov o llame al 844-330-2020. Hello, this is Mayra Pineda, President and CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Louisiana, to remind you that we are in the middle of a national census process. Every 10 years, we have the opportunity to build better communities by getting counted. The final deadline to participate is fast approaching on September 30th, and the participation of the Hispanic community is very important because we need to access federal funding for the health, education, and infrastructure programs that our community needs, as well as political representation to generate change. Visit my2020census.gov or call 844-330-2020. Thank you.
This is a big year, 2020, not only for voting, but for filling out the census. What can we do to encourage our community members to get out, come, and fill out the census?
Well, you know, our democracy in the United States of America is a representative democracy. It's a we the people, we Pluribus Unum. All of us are part of the government and governance of the United States of America. But we elect people to represent us in the House and in the Senate. Now, our representation in the House is based upon the number of people that we have. And to know the number of people that we have in our state, we have to do the census. We have to fill out a census. So it not only gives us the right to have representation in Congress, but it also gives us a voting power that we can make sure that government is in our best interest and responds to the people of America the way it should.
Right. And then not only that, you know, for us to get what we need here, for us to get the right amount of hospitals here, we need hospitals, we need to make sure that fire stations are in our community. We need to know that schools are provided for the children in our community and that the elderly are taken care of. You know, some people don't understand that if we don't fill out this, or we don't have a fire station close to us, or we don't have a hospital to take care of our health needs, this may be a reason why. Because we were never determined, our numbers filling out the census never determined the need for it.
Well, the census will also give us information about the various ages of people. You know, some communities are aging, and they're more elderly people with different needs for health care than a younger population. Some communities are a younger population, and there's more needs for elementary schools. There are more needs for libraries. So it gives you that detailed information, and especially if you wanted to know about your ancestry, because many of us are from different parts of the world, and we come here, but we want to know, where did we really come from? What's our identity? Where were we before? So you could go back and trace where your first ancestors may have lived on St. Anne Street here, or in the French Quarter, or in Araby, and you could determine, how did you get to this location? How did they move about? What kind of jobs did they have? what kind of opportunities were available to them. Why were not more opportunities available to them? And maybe it was because we were not represented in Congress as great a numbers as we should have been, because we did not fill out the census.
And that is right. So the Chase family wants to say to you all, please join us on tomorrow as our younger generation come out, come and fill out the census, register to vote, let us be counted, and let our community get what it needs. The only way we can do that is fill out the census.
On behalf of Fair Count, Pluribus Unum, Urban League, and Power Coalition, I would like to thank our guests for joining us tonight for our Louisiana virtual stop along the Census in the South Road to Recovery virtual bus tour. In closing, we want to challenge you to know your worth and get counted. Fill out the census and get 5 of your closest friends and family to fill out theirs. Then keep that chain moving. Our state and our residents are worth it. You can complete your census questionnaire tonight by going to my2020census.gov or by calling 1-844-330-2020 or by sending in your paper questionnaire by mail. You can also visit censusinthesouth.org for updates on this virtual bus tour. Take care and see you soon.